So growing up, one of the other franchises that I was very into was Transformers. I watched the 2007 Michael Bay film that got me exploring some more of the pieces of media out there and a lot of the products. Transformers Prime is one of my favorite pieces of media of all time. I think that that show was much more mature than the audience it was speaking to, and I think it was really well done. Had some characters that I really enjoyed and some dynamics and plot lines that I thought were really, really well done. And while the road to a Transformers Godzilla collaboration was not always very clear to me, I thought it would be fun for some of the mechs from the Godzilla universe to be able to transform, or some of the robots from Transformers to be able to turn into robotic versions of the kaiju in the Toho universe. And late last night, Takara Tomy formally showed off their 70th Godzilla anniversary collaboration with Toho with the unveiling of a Godzilla and a Kiryu figure. And let's just get into it. So here's the announcement image. Godzilla right in the middle. On the left here we have Megatron using the Grimlock masterpiece or leader class Grimlock mold. He's got the Godzilla Transformers sticker right on the center plate with the Godzilla in the background. On the right side here we have the Optimus Laser Optimus Prime G2 mold, which is a few years old at this point, with the same logo, but instead of Godzilla, it's got Kiryu. It's got the MMS3 on the side here. So you see this image and you think, okay, like, you know, it's Godzilla and Kiryu. What are they doing with these characters? So we'll take a look at Megatron first. Here he is on the right side. And if you're familiar with this mold, I had the masterpiece version of this mold like 10 years ago, I think at this point. There's very little new plastic use here, if any. I don't know. I'm not intimately aware of the recent remolds and reuses of it, but it's very minimal. They've got a Megatron head on there. It's the first time I think Megatron is being put on this mold. And he turns into the black T-Rex with the blue translucent piece down the neck. Obviously, this is a tribute to the glow-up heat ray spines, all that good stuff. So, you know, it doesn't do a whole lot to change the mold to make it look more like Godzilla, but you can get in the spirit of like, okay, it's a robotic dinosaur that kind of looks like Godzilla. He's got the heat ray blue thing down his back. Okay, all that good stuff, whatever. Then you get to Kiryu. Okay, you get to Kiryu, and I just don't know what they're doing here, quite frankly. So he's got the color scheme of Kiryu. He's got the sword and the axe that match the color of like the mazer that Kiryu has. On the right side here, he turns into this truck with the tanker that utilizes some of the colors we've seen the G-Force use throughout the movies. But other than that, like, there's nothing about this design that screams Kiryu to me. Like, you've got the logos on the chest, you've got the colors, but to me, if you never told me that this was a Godzilla tribute, I would never have guessed it. This is not something that intuitively looks like Godzilla or Kiryu to me. So I'm just feeling very underwhelmed by this collaboration, especially because we're talking about two franchises that have existed for decades and have never really crossed over in a meaningful way. And I think that there are better molds out there that they could have done, that they could have leveraged. So here you have the Kingdom T-Rex Megatron that was it was released a couple of years ago. I have it in my display case. It has like a rubbery feel to the skin. It's a great figure. I feel like you could have touched this one up, redone this in like Millennium Godzilla colors, and this would have looked way better than the Grimlock one. Here you have the Transmetal 2 Dragon Megatron, which was released last year, I think, and you could have redone this in like King Ghidorah's colors, make him look like the Golden Dragon. Here's another deluxe dragon mold. I think the original mold is from Age of Extinction, but it was reissued last year for the Lunar New Year special. You could have redone this to be like Manda, done it in Manda colors. Here you have, I think it's Tarantulas. You could have redone this to be like in Kumonga colors. Here's Pterosaur. You could have redone the patterns on the wings to make him look more like Fire Rodan. I just feel like there's so much more that you could have done. And you have this Megatron Grimlock that's just, this already feels phoned in, and then this doesn't even feel phoned in. This is just like what is the vision here? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to do here? This doesn't feel like Kiryu. So I'm just kind of wondering, it just leaves me curious, like, what were the conversations between Toho and Takara Tomy like? Like, could it have been Toho saying, hey, we don't want to stray too far into these designs looking like the kaiju? Was it Takara Tomy saying we don't really want to push the envelope in terms of new tooling and redecos? Like, is it something in between those two? Is it both of them saying, hey, we don't want to go too crazy with this collaboration? I don't know. I just know that it leaves me personally feeling very underwhelmed, and thinking that there was a lot more potential to be had here, and that I hope it just doesn't go to waste. I really hope that they can go further into this kind of collaboration, and hopefully it doesn't take another 70 years. So those are just my thoughts. Woke up, saw this, it was very much like, oh. But let me know in the comment section down below. Is this something that you're interested in? Do you like how these figures look? Or are you waiting for something a little bit better down the line? I'll have a couple of longer interviews posted this week, including first look at the Godzilla Ultimates -1 articulation with Brian Flynn. Stay tuned for that. And as always, I will talk to you again soon. See ya.